The screen doesn't just wake up, it remembers you. You don't tap it, you reach. Your hand hovers a millimeter above the glass, and the display already knows whether you're checking the time, silencing an alarm, or diving into a conversation. The lock screen doesn't flash, it breathes. A soft gradient shifts from the edges inward, matching the ambient light of your room, the angle of your approach, the subtle tension in your grip. The clock doesn't sit rigidly at the center. It drifts, like a buoy on water, settling into a position that frames your wallpaper without obscuring the faces, the landscapes, the moments you chose to keep close. You swipe, and the transition doesn't slide. It unfolds. There's no mechanical jerk, no digital stutter, no sense that the software is catching up to you. It moves at the speed of thought. And in that fraction of a second, you realize something has fundamentally changed. The Galaxy S27 Ultra isn't a phone you install. It's an environment you step into. And after living inside it for weeks, testing its edges, navigating its currents, and watching it adapt to the unpredictable rhythm of actual human life, I can tell you with absolute certainty, Samsung hasn't just updated their flagship, they've reimagined what a smartphone is supposed to be. For years, the Ultra series operated on a simple, exhausted formula: add more megapixels, more zoom levels, more AI buttons, more settings buried in submenus, more ways to customize until customization itself became a chore. We were handed flagships that treated us like power users by default, drowning us in options while starving us of flow. The S27 Ultra breaks that cycle entirely. It doesn't ask what else it can do, it asks what it can stop doing. It removes the friction between intention and action. It stops treating your attention as a resource to be mined and starts treating it as a boundary to be protected. This isn't minimalism for aesthetics, it's architecture for human rhythm, and every pixel, every animation curve, every background process has been rebuilt with one quiet, unwavering question in mind. How do we make this feel like an extension of you, rather than an interruption? The first place you feel this shift is in the display, not because it's brighter. Though at a rumored 4500 nits peak brightness, you could read HDR content under direct desert sunlight and still see every shadow detail, but because it's smarter. The next generation LTPO OLED panel doesn't just scale refresh rates between 1 Hz and 165 Hz. It predicts them. It watches your thumb's velocity, the content's motion, the app's priority, and adjusts the refresh rate before you even feel the need. Scrolling through a static document, it drops to 1 Hz. Sipping power. Flicking through a fast-paced game, it leaps to 165 Hz, delivering console-level smoothness without a single frame drop. The adaptive brightness doesn't just react to ambient light. It learns your preferences, your environment, your rhythm, and adjusts not just the luminance, but the color temperature, the contrast curve, the gamma profile to match not just the room, but your mood. It's not a screen that displays content. It's a canvas that understands context, but the display is just the surface. The real revolution is in the camera system, where Samsung has made a decision that sounds almost heretical for the Ultra lineage. They removed a lens. The 3x telephoto camera, a staple of the Ultra series for generations, is gone. At first glance, it feels like a downgrade, a betrayal. The Ultra built its identity on hardware dominance, more lenses, more zoom, more megapixels. But then you look closer, and the logic becomes terrifyingly clear. In real-world testing, photos cropped from the 200MP main sensor often looked sharper, more detailed, more natural than shots from the dedicated 3x lens. The dedicated lens wasn't adding value. It was adding complexity, weight, cost, and a point of failure. So Samsung made a brutal, brilliant bet. They're replacing hardware with intelligence. The new 200MP main sensor isn't just about resolution. It's about light. With a rumored 1-inch sensor size and variable aperture ranging from f1.4 to f4.0, it captures 30% more light than the S25 Ultra's main camera. That's not a spec, that's a paradigm shift. More light means less noise, better dynamic range, more natural color, and the ability to shoot in conditions that used to require a tripod and a prayer. But the real magic is in the continuous optical zoom system. Instead of fixed focal lengths, the S27 Ultra reportedly features a periscope module that smoothly transitions from 3x to 10x optical zoom without digital cropping. There's no jump between lenses, no shift in perspective, no loss of quality. It's a single, fluid optical range that behaves like a professional cinema rig, not a smartphone. And when you do need to go beyond 10x, the AI reconstruction engine, trained on millions of high-resolution images, rebuilds lost detail with such precision that digital zoom finally feels intentional, not desperate. This isn't just better photography. It's a redefinition of what a camera can be. The imaging pipeline, internally referred to as LOIC-style dynamic range fusion, doesn't stack multiple exposures and blend them in post-processing. It balances highlights and shadows in a single exposure pass, preserving detail in both the brightest skies and the darkest shadows without the artificial, over-processed look that has plagued flagship cameras for years. Video benefits equally. Dynamic range consistency, an area where Samsung has historically lagged behind competitors, is finally on par with the best in the industry. You can shoot a sunset, a concert, a dimly lit room, and the footage holds detail, color, and mood without the need for heavy grading in post. The camera doesn't just capture moments, it understands them, but a camera is just one tool. The S27 Ultra's true power lies in how it thinks. The rumored custom Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6 Pro variant, built on a 2nm process, isn't about raw speed. It's about sustained intelligence. Early engineering samples reportedly maintain peak performance 42% longer under sustained loads, eliminating the thermal throttling that has plagued flagships during gaming, video editing, or AI processing. The chip isn't just faster, it's smarter. It learns your usage patterns, pre-warming frequently used apps in RAM, suspending background processes that exhibit abnormal wake cycles, and distributing workloads across CPU, GPU, and NPU cores to keep the device cool and responsive. The unified memory architecture, with faster bandwidth between processing units, means data moves at the speed of thought. You can record 8K video, run live translation, and edit photos simultaneously without a single lag spike. It's not multitasking, it's flow. And flow is where the S27 Ultra truly shines. The redesigned internal thermal layout isn't just a bigger vapor chamber. It's a layered, heat-spread system that distributes load across the chassis. Instead of pushing it to a single point, heat isn't a side issue anymore. It's a design constraint that's been solved at the architectural level. The result is a device that doesn't just perform in bursts, it performs consistently, reliably, predictably. You can game for an hour, edit a 4K video, or run complex AI models, and the chassis stays cool to the touch. Vectri 6, 800 mAh stacked graphene silicon hybrid doesn't just last longer, it lasts smarter. Adaptive charging profiles learn your sleep schedule, slowing past 80% to reduce electrochemical stress, while custom limits let you cap at 90% if you leave your phone plugged in at a desk. 65W wired charging hits 0 to 80% in 19 minutes, not 40, not 30, 19. And 35W wireless charging with adaptive heat control reduces thermal spikes by 28% compared to previous generations. This isn't just better battery life. It's predictable, reliable, and entirely hands-off power management. But the S27 Ultra's most transformative feature isn't technical, it's psychological. For years we've accepted a false choice: phone or tablet, portability or productivity, simplicity or capability. The S27 Ultra dissolves that dichotomy. It doesn't ask you to compromise, it asks you to expand. When you're commuting, it's a phone. When you're working, it's a workstation. When you're creating, it's a studio. When you're relaxing, it's a theater. And it transitions between these roles, not with fanfare, but with fluidity. The S Pen, now with 1.2's latency and AI context awareness, turns the display into a canvas for thought. Jot down an idea, convert handwriting to text, sketch a design, annotate a PDF. All with the precision of pen on paper, but with the power of digital editing. The Flex Mode experience has been refined to feel less like a gimmick and more like a natural extension of how you hold the device. Prop it up on a table for hands-free video calls. Use the cover screen as a touchpad, while the inner display shows your presentation. Fold it partially to create a stable base for low-light photography. These aren't features you have to remember to use. They're instincts you discover through use. Privacy and security, which are especially critical for a device that holds so much of your life, are woven into the S27 Ultra's foundation. The native app lock lets you secure sensitive apps with a single tap without moving them into a separate sandbox. Partial screen sharing ensures you can share just a recipe or a map without exposing your entire desktop during a video call. The privacy screen uses viewing angle optimization to darken sensitive content from side angles while keeping your direct view crystal clear, perfect for reviewing confidential documents on a plane or in a cafe. And because all AI processing happens on device, your data never leaves the phone unless you explicitly send it. Samsung isn't building a profile of you, they're building a vault for your life. The ecosystem integration has finally matured into something that feels less like a walled garden and more like a bridge. Universal Clipboard lets you copy text on your S27 Ultra and paste it instantly on your Galaxy tab, your Windows PC, or your Chromebook. No cloud sync, no manual pairing, just local, encrypted handoff. Focus modes sync across devices. Enable work on your phone, and your watch mutes social notifications. Your tablet dims entertainment apps. Your earbuds shift to voice-prioritized audio. Handoff is genuinely seamless. Start a call on your wrist, continue it on your phone. As you walk out the door, finish it on your laptop without dropping a word. Drag-and-drop functionality works reliably between apps, allowing you to move text, images, and files with a single swipe. The system remembers your favorite app combinations and suggests them automatically when you swipe into multitasking mode, reducing setup friction to almost nothing. File sharing no longer stops at Android. QR-based transfer protocols let you send photos, documents, and contacts to iOS devices securely. Your S27 Ultra isn't trying to trap you in an ecosystem. It's trying to connect you to your life, whatever devices you choose to use. Now, let's talk about who this is for. Because the S27 Ultra isn't for everyone, and that's okay. It's for the professional who needs a portable workstation that doesn't sacrifice phone functionality. It's for the creator who wants a canvas for ideas that fits in a pocket. It's for the traveler who needs a device that adapts to airports, cafes, and hotel rooms without compromise. It's for the student who wants to take handwritten notes, annotate PDFs, and research without juggling multiple devices. It's for anyone who's ever felt that their phone was too small for their thoughts, or their tablet was too big for their life. If that's you, the S27 Ultra isn't just a purchase, it's a liberation. Of course, no device is perfect, and the S27 Ultra has its quirks. The cover screen, while excellent, is still narrower than some prefer for extended typing. The device, while remarkably thin when unfolded, is still thicker than a traditional phone when folded, a necessary trade-off for the hinge and battery. And the price, starting at a rumored $1.999, is a significant investment, but consider what you're getting: a phone, a tablet, a workstation, a creative studio, and a media center, all in one device that evolves with your needs. When you break it down over the 4 or 5 years you'll likely keep it, that's less than $400 per year for a device that replaces multiple gadgets. And with 7 years of OS and security updates, the S27 Ultra isn't just a purchase, it's a partnership. But beyond the specs, the price, and the features, what truly sets the S27 Ultra apart is the feeling it leaves you with. After a week of using it, I stopped thinking about it as a foldable. I stopped marveling at the hinge or checking for the crease, I just used it. And in that normalcy, there's a profound victory. Samsung didn't just make a better foldable. They made a foldable that doesn't feel like a compromise. They made a device that disappears into your life. Not because it's invisible, but because it finally fits. So if you've been waiting for a phone that doesn't ask you to choose between portability and power, between simplicity and capability, between phone and tablet, your wait is over. The Galaxy S27 Ultra isn't just the future of foldables. It's the future of how we live with technology. And that future doesn't shout. It unfolds. Thanks for walking through this journey with me. If this resonated with you, if you've ever dreamed of a device that truly adapts to your life, instead of forcing you to adapt to it, please hit subscribe and tap the bell. We'll be here, tracking the long-term durability of the hinge, testing battery endurance across real-world usage, comparing camera performance in diverse scenarios, and sharing honest, grounded insights that help you make the most of your technology without the hype. We're not here for headlines. We're here for humanity, for the real-world experiences that remind us why we fell in love with tech in the first place. Until next time, may your screens be seamless, your folds be smooth, your battery be reliable, and your digital life feel a little more expansive, a little more flexible, and entirely your own. Take care, friends.